Welcome to Let's Talk. On today's episode, we're going to be talking to an author, talking about her book called Not Easily Broken. Sit tight as we talk to Ashley Bennett. I have with me today Miss Ashley Bennett. We're talking about her book, Not Easily Broken. How you doing, Ashley?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, what inspired you to write the book?
God.
Okay.
That's the short answer. No, seriously. This book is a memoir about my life.
Okay.
And it took 29 years of content to compose. That's the age I am.
Okay.
And I knew that my story was just one of many stories like it, but not everybody puts a voice to it, or can bravely write a book. So it really was to help other people who have overcome some of the obstacles I faced since childhood.
Okay. I was actually going to ask, like, how long did it take you to write it? So I know you said over the length of 29 years, but did you sit down, like, over those courses, did you write little things? Because personally, like, I've written stuff down, like, okay, pieces here and there, and then you compiled it together, or how did you do it?
I actually wrote it in my computer in a month.
Okay.
So it's 29 years of content,
right.
meaning it's over a period of time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But once I knew I had to write the book, I started in April and got done by May.
Okay.
I was a little over 13,000 words in before I connected with my marketing company, and the book is about 15,691 words.
Okay.
So,
wow.
it's 100 pages long. So it took a month. It could have taken less. I took breaks too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What made you just sit down and say, okay, have you always wanted to write it, or, like, did you just sit down like, okay, let me write this book, and then 13,000 words came? Like,
no, someone actually so not to weird anyone out, but someone actually told me I was going to write books about my life. Okay. And at that point, I was a little younger, and I was like, what is it going to be about? So I was like, I must be some successful person to write a book. That's a big deal in my head to write a book. Not everyone I know does it. So that sank in. I never forgot that. I wrote that down in my journal anytime anyone tells me something I deem significant. Mm-hmm. And then when I was away in Arizona in 2013 is when I actually was like, now I get it. Okay. Now I know what the book is going to be about. I jotted things down there, but I never moved forward. 2016, I attempted to write the book again, didn't move forward. And this year in April, I completely started over. And I just wrote and wrote and wrote. Wow. And it was easy because it was my life. Mm-hmm. I just had to decide what parts I was going to focus on and what I was going to not elaborate on, like the fluff that people didn't need to know.
How does it feel to actually, like, have your book sitting here and out? Like, I know you're doing interviews and you're just touring with the book. Mm-hmm. How does that feel? Like,
if it still doesn't feel real, I would consider myself, and I think most people consider me, a humble person. So I still feel like normal. I just feel like this is just another platform for people to get helped. And my thing is, I understand people need to have influence and affluence to be able to create changes. Mm-hmm. So with this book, I was like really happy it had an impact because that means people are buying it. That means people are reading it and they're getting the help and they're spreading the word. And a byproduct of helping people is that I also get paid for what I did and being vulnerable in my book. So I'm still taking it in, but it's not at all getting to my head. I'm just honored that people are interested to read it.
Okay. Where'd you get the title from?
Not easily broken. You know, what's funny about it? We store stuff subconsciously in our minds. So it jumped out at me, Not Easily Broken. I'll break it down. So Not Easily Broken, I had no idea that's actually the name of a movie with Morris Chestnut in it. Mm-hmm. Didn't know that until somebody pointed it out. I was like, really? I always knew that the word broken somehow was going to be in my book title. Okay. So I'm like, Not Easily Broken. I've been hit so many times. I bend, but I don't break. So Not Easily Broken. The subtitle, I actually posted on my Facebook page to engage the audience and have people participate in the process. of what became a best-selling book, I posted 4 different book titles, and that's the one everyone gravitated to.
Okay.
So the Turning Hidden Shame into Distant Memories, I actually have a collection called Distant Memories of artwork, because I'm an artist too.
Okay.
And it's 3 different pieces, and it's pieces I started when I first started in counseling and finished up by over the year span of being in counseling. And it was basically telling my story from start to middle to the end of who I wanted to become.
Okay.
And I wanted to make that part of my life a distant memory. And then Hidden Shame is actually the first painting that I made. And that's when I first opened up with the story. And when I posted it on Facebook in 2013, it probably was like, what in the world? Because it's a girl sitting in a corner, and she's basically naked, but you can't see, you know, her body, and her hair is covering her face. And then splattered on the walls, it says, help me, you know, I can't remember the exact words. It just helped me understand it's not my fault. I felt ashamed when he touched me, hurt me. So when I posted that, and I'm this happy, bubbly, kind of cheerful person, people were like, first of all, who did that painting? And what? You know, it was like a horror movie.
Yeah.
So it put a picture to, you know, what people go through in silence often. And that's where the title came from.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And then we'll come back. We'll definitely talk about some of your paintings as well, because I'm interested in that as well. And then we'll just go some more into the book. So, we'll be right back. Back with Ashley Bennett. I do want to go over like your paintings. Like I didn't know that you were an artist. Like,
yes.
How many paintings do you have? Like when did you start painting?
So I started painting as a child. My middle name is Monet. Anyone who's an art enthusiast, you may know the French painter. His name is Claude Monet. His pieces are in the Louvre in Paris, and I was named after him. My mom also did art. She stopped a long time ago, but she always fed my gift of naturally being able to do art since I was a little girl. I just had a special eye for things. And I stopped doing art for a while. I went to the school for the arts, which I mentioned in the book, before I transferred to this city now. So it helped me learn techniques, but I always went against the grain with what I learned. And so in 2013, I picked back up on my gift, and it became my therapy. So once I knew that I needed therapy, because I studied the subject of like abuse, molestation, rape, and the effects or coping mechanisms that people use. There's so many to cope with it. Self-cope, which is the worst way to cope, to internalize stuff and not get help. I was like, I can't go down like a bad path. I was a good person, but I wasn't great. And I noticed I had some of those coping mechanisms. So I used art as like a diary to be bold. I wasn't as bold as I am now. Okay. So I started art again. My counselor encouraged me to continue to do the pieces. And she was like, I think this is going to help somebody else. Like, you need to keep doing it. From there, someone else saw it. And they were like, I have this email address I need to give you. Contact this person and show them your artwork. I emailed her. I sent the few pieces I did from counseling. And then a month later, I was in my first show in Phoenix, Arizona, 600 people there. And then they had me get on stage because so many people gravitated to them, were crying, like, can I touch this? That happened to me. I'm talking about grown men, white, black, Chinese. I mean, wow. You know, Christian, non-Christian. And we're in this club venue, and they're like, please speak on stage. And I took my first piece, Hidden Shame, and I spoke out about my story, and the whole room, like, ruptured in applause. And I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. So, you know, that was, like, one of almost 40 shows total that I've been in, including I've done a solo show with some pretty popular Christian poets. I mean, I've showcased a solo exhibit at Kent State University, which was an honor. That's my alma mater. And I've had a lot of opportunities. I do prophetic paintings at churches live. I've done about 6 of those. So art, it really has been a blessing. Something that started off hard, it ended up becoming something beautiful.
Wow. I want to go back to the moment where those people were, the 600 people were there. Like, what were you, I mean, you probably didn't, when you made your painting, you probably didn't even think it would take you that far.
That wasn't even the intention, really. I mean, I wanted to bring awareness, but once I realized, which is crazy because I talk about in the book, I didn't even know I was molested. I know that sounds weird, but I knew what happened wasn't right, but I just thought it was something that happens. And so, even though I didn't feel good about it, I didn't know the definition of molestation. And molestation and rape are 2 different things. And once I looked up the definition after my friend told me and I described what happened to me, she was like, "You didn't know you were molested?" I was like, "Excuse me?" My world like shattered. So I was having anxiety attacks. I mean, it was crazy. I was in a deep, deep form of depression, and all I wanted to do was sleep, not eat or anything. And I was like, how am I ever going to be able to make friends, date, anything? It was dismal. And so slowly, my counselor, the art, my support system, being far away from home, like 2,000 miles away from here, it was hard. It was very hard, but yeah, I mean, I never thought that those art pieces and speaking out was going to take me this far.
Wow. So I know the book is you said it's 100 pages. Why is it such a short book?
It's a short book because we're in a society that wants things fast and quickly, and our attention spans are like the Instagram feed it now. I want the instant story. So I wanted to make sure that people didn't have an excuse like the working mother, like the father who's constantly working or busy or whatever the case. I wanted everybody to be able to have time to read the book, not just say, "Oh, I'm supporting Ashley, let me hurry up and download this," or let me buy this, but actually read it. And I've had people who are ex-felons or whatever you want to say, saying, "You know, Ashley, I haven't read in 12 years since I was in jail, and I read through your whole book in a little over an hour, and I was inspired by it." You know, I've had people who don't really read my book and read it twice and share it with people. And so I intentionally made it a short read because there's not that many short reads on Amazon available, but people want them. So I wanted to be impactful and short at the same time.
Okay. Do you see yourself writing another book?
Absolutely. Actually, while I was writing this one, before it was even published, I already started writing my second book. I intentionally want to wait to publish the second book, obviously, because this one just launched 3 weeks ago. But the second book is about forgiveness. It will be a devotional about forgiveness. It'll take 26-day devotional, and the things that were taught to me and the things I had to learn about forgiveness, because there are misconceptions about forgiveness, and I don't want victims to feel bad. I want them to heal and for it to be a focus on them and for them not to feel bad if they don't want to reconcile with people who hurt them, and to know the difference when it's okay and when it's not okay.
So do you think that's a part 2 of this book, maybe?
No, I think sort of, but it's not. I didn't make it a series. I could have, but I already have the book title for the second one.
Okay.
So it's different than this one, but yeah, I wanted this one to just stand alone, and I wanted people to get to know me in a more personal way first.
What's the most important aspect about this book that you want the readers to get?
The most important aspect of this book is don't judge a book by its cover. I know that's cliche, but when you look at this book, that's how everyone usually depicts me in my mind. They're seeing Smiley, I was a cheerleader in high school, I love God, I'm on fire for God, I'm a minister now. So they see that side of Ashley, but that invites you into the book. But once you open it, it's like, whoa. So if you would have never expected me to have gone through or hit all these things, just imagine there's so many other people, and we misjudge people. We have these misconceptions, and then we miss out on potentially helping people, drawing them to Christ, and not being so judgy. Because I didn't grow up in church. I didn't start going to church seriously till I was 15. And helping prevent suicide or whatever, I want people to be helped. So the most important part, don't judge a book by its cover. And the last chapter actually gives steps. It's called GROW, which is an acronym, but it gives steps on how to start your own healing journey. Even if I never talk to them or coach them, it tells them how to start their journey based on how I started mine.
Wow. Where can this book be bought?
This book is actually on Amazon indefinitely. It will always be on there. And they can order the digital version of the book, or they can order the paperback version of the book. I also do autograph copies, so if they're on my social media, which is Ashley and Bennett on Facebook, they will be able to access me to get that. But it's on Amazon, and you can look up my name, Ashley and Bennett, or you could look up the title, Not Easily Broken, Turning Hidden Shame into Distant Memories, and it will come up.
Is that you only have Facebook? That's the only...
I do have Instagram, but I need to get better at posting. I will be honest, I'm a little more biased, which is because most people my age and younger, they like Instagram more than Facebook. I like the intimacy of Facebook.
Okay.
And I like the fact that I'm sharing the journey with people I personally know, but they can share it with people I don't know because I make my posts public.
Okay.
So I have made my Facebook public since I become an author. I'm like, well, if I'm doing a book telling all of my business, I might as well make my Facebook public.
Right.
So I did that. That was something that my marketing company also recommended. My marketing company actually is the reason why I put my face on the book. I was not that brave. I was like, like, I'm already using my name. People will figure out who I am. But I was going to put my artwork. They were like, they need to know you. They need to see you. So, yeah.
It's definitely a nice picture.
Thank
you.
Nice picture Credit to, my photographer, First 24 Media Group. So, thank you.
Okay. All right. Now, last thing is, I just want to open the floor for you. You can just talk straight to the camera to just inspire someone if they want to write a book, if they're dealing with things, just however you feel like you want to inspire.
Okay. First, I want to say, believe in yourself. For me, a belief in myself, being my biggest cheerleader. I'm hard on myself, but I believe in myself. And the more I say yes to things I really want to do without having to feel validation from other people, the more I go after things, the more I'm able to accomplish things. And let your inspiration of people be a byproduct. Don't let that only fuel the reason why you're doing things is to get celebrated by people, because sometimes you'll do things and people don't like it. But choose what you want to do. And ultimately, in my mind, I think of how many people are passing away or dying, and I think, well, if that happened to me tomorrow, what legacy would I want to leave today? And so I really do try to live like I'm not going to have tomorrow, even though I want to have tomorrow. And ultimately, by faith, God really allows me to think I can move a mountain, I can overcome this thing, and I don't have to be afraid. So go after your dreams, no matter what your age is. Don't be limited. And second, if you know somebody that is doing what you want to do, don't have this mentality that you can't go to the person. If you want to do something, this world is really, really big, and you should be able to talk to the person and see if they're willing to give you advice. I don't have a crab in the bucket mentality, or say, oh, this person is a best-selling author, I wanted to do that too. And I just have the mindset, hey, you're a best-selling author, how did you do it? That's what led me to my book. I asked someone I knew, and she led me to the right team, and they came through with what they said they were going to do, and I'm a best-selling author now.
All right. I really appreciate you coming and sitting down with me.
Thank you for having me.
I'm definitely going to get the book and read it.
Praise God, you should.
So I would definitely let you know what I think about it.
Good.
Yeah.
Reviews on Amazon after you read it.
Okay.
If you've made, I think you have to have made up to maybe $50 worth of purchases on Amazon. I think that's a new rule. But you're able to leave a review, which I appreciate. I think I'm up to 15 or 16 reviews now, which I'm appreciative of.
All right. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode of Let's Talk. Please like, share, and subscribe to my page so that you can tune into the next episode of Let's Talk.